We're going to talk about why we end up rushing into rebound relationships. A lot of that has to do with ego, fear, and that dopamine rush of getting those text messages from a girl and that new interest and stuff like that. And so the biggest thing is that we don't want to be alone, right? It is a major hit to our ego, especially if we've been with someone for the last, I don't know, how long was your last relationship before you got broken up with, right? I mean, I was married for 14 years, and not having my wife around for that first year was really difficult, even though like I hated her. Just not having that a woman in your life, it was really challenging, right? And then if you guys don't know my story, I floundered on the dating circuit that whole year. It took me 11 months to meet red pill chick because I just sucked so bad at dating. I had no idea what I was doing. I hadn't dated in over 15 years at that point, and so getting back on the dating circuit was a whole new world. There's dating apps now. Like, what am I even doing? I don't know. Plus, I was 50 pounds overweight, which doesn't help any of you guys. So, so I didn't know what I was doing, but I was trying to fill that void, right? And it was a lot of that was my ego, fear of being alone, and then that dopamine hit of the interactions. And it's, man, when you swipe right on a girl and she swipes right on you and you get that match, bam, dopamine hit, right? You know what I'm talking about. And a lot of you guys just you're immediately trying to fill that void with a rebound relationship. But you got to think of it like this, right? Right now, if you, I don't know if you guys know this, but a couple months ago, I messed up my knees running. And man, I've been running pretty close to 10 years now, pretty regularly. So this year has been a major drag. One, I lost my dog this year. Two, my knees got injured a couple months ago. And three, I lost my friend Thor, right? Like, it's a hard year so far. 2025 sucks. Anyway, the thing is though, like, I can't just get back out there and run. I can't, right? Or I'm gonna further injure my knee. I have to actually take some time to heal. So I'm not running right now. In fact, I just got diagnosed. I had my MRI appointment 2 weekends ago now, and it turns out I do have a meniscus tear. And so I'm going to have knee surgery, right? I can't just rush back out into running. I actually have to get the surgery. And then after surgery, that's going to take some time to recover. And I'm probably going to have to do some physical therapy with that, right? None of you guys do the physical therapy or mental therapy rather when you guys get broken up with. Most of you guys don't. You guys get dumped and you're immediately like, oh, I'm just going to move on, bro. Like immediately, you don't take that time to actually like process what happened. Think about what went wrong in that relationship and what you could have learned, like what you learned from it, so you don't apply those mistakes going forward, right? Most guys don't do that. They break up with the girl. They blame her for everything. She was just the wrong woman. Let me just find another woman and everything will be hunky-dory. And then the problem is most of you guys have the sniper dating mentality. And so the first girl that's nice to you, you rush into a new relationship and you don't take the time to, really see who these women really are, right? We say vet in this space. The problem with vetting is, it's better than doing nothing, but you really don't see who a woman is for the first 6 months to a year of dating them. So you need to like create some space. Don't try to occupy your time with like this new girl that shows up in your life and try to occupy every day of the week with her, right? Just see her like once a week. Okay. And at the same time, you want to talk to other women and spin some plates. But before you're even ready for that, you need to take a couple months off and just get used to being alone, right? Work on your own mental frame and stuff like that. But most of you guys aren't doing that. You guys aren't doing that. You got to think of it like my messed up knees. I have to take time to heal this. You have to take time to heal this. All right. And there's this illusion of moving on, right? When you meet a new girl, but it's really just a rebound relationship, you have this sort of illusion of moving on. But the reality is you still have a lot of this emotional baggage from the last relationship. You have a lot of unresolved, and I don't like throwing the word trauma around because I don't think that's trauma. Like, that's not true trauma, right? Talk to a Marine vet who spent time in Afghanistan. That's trauma. All right. You being in a shitty relationship is not trauma. Okay. Man, side tangent. If you guys ever read the book Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink, I love that book, right? They also wrote, he and Leif Babin also wrote The Dichotomy of Leadership. And the best things about those books is they go from like one story of like just absolute hell on earth in a battlefield to stupid bullshit people do in an office environment, arguing over the flavor of coffee in the Keurig machine, right? Like it's just incomparable. It's incomparable. The modern conveniences that we have and the cushion and cushy lifestyle that the veterans provide for us. And we're complaining about dumbass shit and calling this trauma. Right? It's not trauma. AI's going to clip that. Anyway, so you have this emotion, you do have this emotional baggage though from the relationship, okay? And you're carrying that into this new relationship, and you're going to cause a lot of the same problems you had in your past relationship because you never learned how to deal with that stuff. Okay. So some signs that you haven't healed, right? You still check her socials, right? You still go back and see what she's up to. You fantasize about a reunion. Oh, what happens if I run into her at the store? What would we say? What would we do? Like, we're just going to fall in love again? It's just going to be a man. You guys start coming up with these stupid fantasies in your head. Okay. You need that validation, right? So you sort of go out of your way and do little things. A big thing that I see a lot of nice guys do is they will go out and volunteer to do a lot of do-boy shit for their exes, hoping to get that validation from her and then hoping to get back into her good graces. My cousin did this. This was years ago. He went through a divorce with his wife. And man, he was mowing her lawn and like fixing her car and doing all this stuff. And I finally reached out to him on Messenger because he was getting, it was classic nice guy syndrome stuff where he was doing covert contracts and expecting a certain reaction and reciprocation from her. And he just wasn't getting it. And she was just happy to use him. And so he was getting really frustrated by that situation and then like vague booking about it. Right. So I saw his post. I knew what was going on because I study the stuff and I'm a men's coach and stuff. And so I reached out to him. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What's going on? And he's like, oh, well, I'm mowing her lawn. I'm doing all this stuff. And she doesn't show me any appreciation. I'm like, why the fuck should she? She's your ex, bro. She's just using you. Stop putting yourself in that position to just get hurt. Okay. You don't owe her shit. You don't owe her. You're not in her life anymore. She needs to find some other dude to mow her lawn. She needs to find some other dude to fix her car. That's not your job anymore. Your job is to heal. Okay. Your job is to fix what's up here. All right. Take some time to do that and then move the on. Okay. And there's this trap of doing fine. I'm doing fine. Like you ask people, hey, how are you doing, bro? How are you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine. You know, deep down, they're not fine. They're not fine. And most men don't have like an outlet to express that. So they bottle that shit up. Right? They bottle that shit up. They think no one cares. And so they sit there and they tell everyone that they're fine, but deep down they're hurting inside, right? And they drink themselves to sleep every night, or they do weed or whatever it is to try to escape the pain, right? Instead of actually processing it and dealing with it and maybe even like working with other men. One of the big things that helped me out of this process was getting in a group of other men, right? I often talk about the podcast. This podcast was born out of a men's group. It was born out of the original 3% Man group on Facebook. That group has since gone, and I basically replaced it with my beer club. But beer club is a place for guys to get together and process this stuff with other guys that have been through it, right? They've been through it and they've come out better on the other side. They know what you're going through. Okay. Now, a lot of guys, you tell a guy like, hey man, just come to a men's group, be vulnerable and shit like that. And they're like, what? I'm not going to share all this shit with a bunch of strange dudes. Like, that's why it's called beer club, because you don't have to, right? Just getting around other men though, and then seeing what they're doing and seeing how they're moving on with their life and the work that they're doing on themselves, that'll help you process your own shit. Just being around other dudes, right? And that's why it's called beer club. It's supposed to be like a relaxed environment. We're changing the name. Listen for that next week. We'll talk about that next week, but mainly just because people are like, beer club, like I don't drink alcohol. And I'm just like, I'm tired of confusing people. So anyway, but that's like getting in a group like that. Thor's Dragons group. It's still, Thor passed away, but the Dragons is carrying on. All the money, if you join the Dragons group, is going to go to his wife, Missy, and then Glenn's just going to manage it going forward. But groups like that, okay, groups like that are good for you. And you don't have to have this mask of doing fine when you clearly aren't, right? You have an outlet to work through some of this stuff. Have you ever thought I'm over her, but still feel that tug when her name pops up, like, you're not alone, okay? But you need more time and you need some tools.
New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe now.